Welcome to the HPRC Primer, Introduction to Grace, and HPRC Resource. I am Trenton Gray, a computer engineering major from Austin, Texas. But more importantly, I am the loudest and the proudest member of the Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2026. Whoop. In this session, we are going to be introducing how to use Grace, Texas A&M HPRC's flagship cluster. I'm first going to show you all the hardware. Then I'm going to show you all through the portal, how to use it through the portal. And then lastly, at the end, I'm going to show you all more like using the command line and how to submit jobs on here. So I'll start off with just talking about Grace. Grace is Grace is our flagship cluster. So it's 925 nodes. We have InfiniBand HDR 100. Our GPUs include the A100, RTX 6000, and T4. You can see right here on this table how we distribute, how all the different nodes are distributed. There's 48 cores per node. And then we allocate 384 gigabytes of memory per compute node. And then we have a couple nodes if you need to use a whole lot more memory, 3 terabytes of memory. We have some big mem nodes. Those also have about 80 cores per node. We have login nodes. Those aren't used for computing, but those are whenever you connect to the cluster, you use those. And that's the hardware. That's what we're dealing with. This thing is really good. So, how does the batch computing kind of work? So the idea is that you're on your computer, you connect to our login nodes on the cluster, and you're gonna do this through the network. If you're off campus, you're gonna use the VPN, and you'll connect to the network. From the login nodes, this is where you're interacting with the cluster. You can't SSH to a compute node. You don't touch those. That's what Slurm deals with, that the actual jobs deal with that. But you're in the login nodes. From the login nodes, you can create a job script, which is just like a text file with some parameters and it's just a shell script. And then you submit the job. It goes into Slurm. Slurm decides how it wants to distribute how it wants to allocate resources to this, what node gets it, how that works. Goes into your compute node, gets processed, and then out pops your output files, and your job's done. There's the two main nodes. We have our login node, and that's what you interact with. The compute nodes you don't interact with. You don't touch those. Those guys are the ones who do jobs, and those aren't connected to the internet either. So, yeah. When it's going through the compute nodes, you get charged. You're gonna get charged. I'll talk more about this in a moment. But jobs that go through the compute nodes, that's when you're getting charged SUs. You don't get charged service units when you're on the nodes. So there's two main things you want to keep track of whenever you are using our clusters. And you have your file quota and your allocation. So the file quota, just like in the name, file, it's for your files, it's for your storage. You have a file limit and you have a space limit, and you have a couple other 2 directories that you use to put your files in. We'll talk about more about that later. But the point is you have a set amount of file space, and then separately you have your service units. These are your resource allocations, and this is, you can think of it as like your computing credits. And this is how long you can, whenever you run a job, it's going to take out from your SUs, and it gets charged to that account. The quota is a totally separate thing. It's just for your files. The SUs is actually like your computing time. And if you use a GPU, you get charged more SUs. And I'll talk about that more later. So now that we know how it works, what we want to be looking at whenever we're using Grace, let's actually get into Grace. So there's 2 ways to get into Grace. You can SSH into it, which will like you can do that right from the terminal, from the command line. But we also have a handy dandy portal that you can use that we have set up through Open On Demand. And through this portal, you can eat a lot, so much easier interact. You can see a lot more things. And today I'm gonna show you all how to use the portal. And then from the portal, you can get to the command line also. Um, if you're off campus, um, you'll need your VPN. So you can go to that website right there, and it'll be a Cisco VPN. You download it, uh, get it going. I hope y'all got this set up before the primer, but if not, that's okay. You can still follow along. So let's get there through the portal. You can first you start off, you go to either one, portal.hprc.tamu.edu or hprc.tamu.edu. Either one's fine. And you're going to choose the Grace portal. If also, I want to say, if you're as you're going through this, please follow along. Like if you got another monitor or you just want to just follow along with what I'm saying. You can go right now, hprc.tamu.edu, and you can navigate along as I'm showing y'all all this stuff. And so once we get into the portal, let's just go right into the shell. The shell is your command line. Just as like a base, like, okay, I get into the portal. You're mostly going to go probably into the shell, depending on what you're doing. So once you're in the portal, go into the shell and just check it out. Look around, poke around. I'm going to do a little hands-on activity, give you all a little moment. Go to HPRC, go to the website, go to the portal, Grace portal, and then go into the shell. And let me know once you're in the shell. Let me know what node you're on, because there's 5 nodes, and I'd like to know what you can reply that in the chat. So I'm here on HPRC website. Excellent. I'm gonna go hover over this and go to Grace portal. All right, sweet. Here we are in the portal, and there's 2 different ways to get to the shell. There's a big, nice button right here, right there because usually you go. There's also, you can go right up here if you're not in the main page. You go to Grace Shell Access, and then here we are. Log in. You're gonna get a Duo notification, and from that, approve. Sweet, we're in. I'm on Grace login node 2. Here we are on the web page. Okay, yeah, so that's how you get to the shell. That's where you can do a lot of stuff from the shell. There's and we'll get to that in a moment. But for now, we'll get back to the slides. So to the next idea. Once you might have seen, whenever you logged in to the shell, you might have seen like a little message down here, like this one down here at the bottom. Your current disk quotas are blank and blank. So what are these disk quotas? How do they work? So you have 2 directories. You have your home directory, and you have your scratch directory. They have different purposes, but I'll summarize it into like this. Your home directory is going to be where you keep kind of important stuff. It gets backed up every night, but you don't have a lot of space. There's not much space. You keep like a small processing on this. You're not gonna do much. But your scratch directory is where you're gonna have a lot of your actual computation is gonna be going on. And so you have a lot more space, way more files, but this does not get backed up. So when you're doing computations, I really recommend that you have your own um, you have your own like external drive that you keep in your office or wherever you do your work, and keep it on there or keep it on your computer so that um, just so that you have backup. And these environment variables right here, y'all have your Linux, y'all took the Linux class. So if you were to do a $home in your terminal, if you were to type that, out would come it would say this is the directory, and then it would show you the directory. You can also see your quota. First, you can see your quota in the shell if you type show quota. So, um, well, I'll demonstrate that in a moment. But you can also see your quota elsewhere, and that's through the portal. Um, so I'd like to showcase that. So if we go to the portal, you return to the portal. At the top, there's all the different menus. You can click the drop down for the dashboard, for dashboard drop down, and then there's the app, the Grace dashboard. From here, there's a lot of stuff going on, but this is a really handy. This is a really handy. This is a really helpful for using Grace. It shows your quotas. I want to put a lot of emphasis just right now that you can see your quotas here. So you can see if you look on the bottom right of my screen, there's the quotas. It shows your home, your scratch, any groups that you're in. It'll show your quotas. You can from here you can request quota increases, and then on the top left, you can do a help ticket if you need help using the cluster, or you can request software if we don't have any software that you need. And um, I really promote that you use if you need help for something on the cluster. I think it's very helpful if you use these tickets, these buttons in the dashboard, because it asks you a bunch of questions and you'll answer these questions. I'll show you all I'll do a demonstration also. Um, but if you like answer all these, it makes it so much easier and so much more helpful for us, because then we can solve your problem, help desk. We can solve your problem a whole lot faster, versus like an email that says, help, I have my program not working. Well, then I don't know what cluster it's on, or like where this file is, or what are you trying to do, you know? And so the help ticket has all the questions. Same thing with software requests, same thing with the quota increases. So let's do a little hands-on activity again. I want you all to go to the dashboard, and then I want y'all to see your quota right on there. And then I want y'all to go into the shell, and then let me know if you see that they're the same. And then I'll demonstrate that also. I'll do a little demonstration. All right, here we are back at the shell, but we're not going to be in the shell just for a moment. We want to go to the portal. From the portal, click dashboard. We're going to open the handy dandy dashboard, and it's going to load, and the quota is going to show up right down here. And separately, see how long this takes. Might take a moment. I know there's a good amount of processing going on with Grace right now, so it may take a moment. Yes, here we are. See, so you can see right here on my screen that here's the quotas right over here, and now I want to go up to the shell that I'm in, and like let's say I did a bunch of commands or different things, and I'm like, oh, I don't have this thing all the way at the start. Well, how do I see what my quota is in the shell? Well, I can type show quota, and then boom, look at it right here. Your current disk quotas are this and this, and it gives you a nice little information, even a notification for any of your group directories. And then right here in the dashboard, all right, I'm back on the dashboard. I want to show y'all, just like if I want to create a help ticket, I could select, let's say, I don't know, other email ID, I'm just gonna skip a lot of these, but um, let's see. Whatever. Anyways, you fill this out, and then you'll say get help, and it will send a ticket, and then it will show up on our communications. Yep, ticket request has been created, and a copy sent through RT, which is really neat. And then we get that, and then you have all the information filled out. It's really neat. We can get uh the we can help you out. So back to the slides. Here we are. So uh, let's keep going because before we submit a job, we know about file quotas. Now let's know a little bit more about SUs. So in the dashboard, you can see your SU count, your SU balance, and this you can in SU, the actual unit for an SU, it's calculated as 1 core per hour. So if you say, oh, I want to use 30 cores, let's make it easier number. I want to use 10 cores and it's going to take 24 hours. It can take one whole day. Well, then that's pretty simple. 10 cores, 24 hours, 240 SUs is what's going to cost you. You also have, if you're using a GPU, that will cost more per hour. But there's no but. Yeah, GPUs cost more per hour. They're not, they're not as common, and they're yeah. Anyways, so whenever you don't specify, whenever you submit a job, the SU is going to get charged to your default account. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. I'll kind of explain like default accounts and all that, but just remember, if you don't, your default account is going to be where most of your SUs get charged to if you're not specifying it. So yeah, there's that. In the shell, you can also check your SUs, and you can type my project, and it's going to pull up a nice little table that has all of your SUs. Oh, I did not see y'all's messages. Yeah, so a core per hour. Let's go. I'll answer these questions real quick, actually. So Elise, group HPRC, that is just for me because I'm here as staff. You can have your own group, and group directories are where you share your files, file quotas. And oh, and then way do you the GPU costs, those are going to be on the knowledge base. I don't have those off the top of my head. Different GPUs are going to cost different amounts because some are better than others. Though sometimes if you just need GPU, you can just use any GPU. Um, and yeah, you can also check your SUs in the shell using my project. You yeah, brings up the table. You can run my project -D, and then you can copy whatever account number you want. You can paste it right there in the account number, and it's going to change your default account. Next time you do my project, you'll see a change in which one's the default. And for a couple other commands with it, you can do my project -H, and that will show you some more information. So time for um another hands-on activity. I want y'all to go into the shell first, and then I want you guys to do my project. And then after that, I want y'all to go into the dashboard and check for the same thing. It's not going to take too long, but um, I'd like y'all to do that just to get the practice because it's really handy. If you don't know how much, you don't know what's going on. Maybe you're like, oh, why is my account not my job not going through? Well, you can use my project to check. Oh, I don't actually have enough SUs. I'll have to apply for more. All right, I will do a little demo. Back here to the dashboard. Here we are at the dashboard, and you can see it right there, right basically in the middle, kind of near the top right, is all your accounts. I only have 2 accounts, and one of these accounts is because um, there's one from previous fiscal year and there's one from this current fiscal year. And once we move, I think that's tomorrow or 2 days from now, it'll go away and I will only have one account. But anyways, from here, you can see your accounts. And then I want to show y'all right from the shell. Oh, I did a bunch of stuff. Actually, when I want to see my account, I can do my project right in the shell. And it shows you the exact same information, but nice and here in the shell. So um, it's pretty nice. It's pretty neat, very handy, very helpful to know that. All right, back here at the slides, can y'all raise your hand if you were able to check your SU balance in the shell and on the dashboard? Yeah. All right. So now that we know quotas, we know SUs, we know how to check those. We can, oh, Elise had a question. How do you check how much was used per job? So, um, whenever you submit a job on Grace, it will tell you how whenever you submit a job on Grace, it'll tell you how much was charged to your account. And if you run it, it will say if you submit a job for, like I said, 10 cores, 10 computer cores, CPU cores for 24 hours, it'll say, okay, you get charged 240 SUs. But if your job finishes early, you'll actually get refunded any SUs um, that are not used. So if your job doesn't run the whole time, you get refunded back what isn't used. And you, what else is that? So you can also check using my job. So yeah, so you can check how many get refunded. There's not really a amount for. I think you just have to do the math. But there's a command. I'll mention it near the end actually, where you can check your previous jobs that you've submitted. You can also see in the dashboard, and it'll show your previous jobs, your past jobs, and it will say how much that job charged on your account and when it was submitted, a bunch of other information, the job ID, um, and that's what you can use to check and keep track of. And then you can always, if you just want to see how many you have left, then you can see. Uh, you're welcome, Liz. All right, so software. So now that we have this idea, we actually want to use the cluster now. And in order to use it, you need specific software. You can't just well, you could, but you can't really just say run a program. Um, um, and so we have our entire list on software. If you go to hprc.tami.edu/software/Grace, you can see the entire list of software that we have in Grace, all the modules that we have, and that includes compilers and OpenMPI and all that pretty fun stuff. And then you can also check our knowledge base right here, the second link, and that is going to have more instructions and examples for this. It's not there for all the software we have, but for some of the software and for most of it, and it will give you more in depth of here's some sample scripts, here's some stuff, here's some commands. Um, it's really helpful. It's really helpful if you are having a problem with your software. Definitely go to the knowledge base first. You can try to check documentation online. Uh, and then if you need help, oh yeah, and let's say you have a software that you want that's license restricted, you can contact the help desk. Oh, sweet. Thanks, Josh. Yep, the knowledge base link is in the chat, and that's where you can. There's a lot of information, but in there you can check the software. If you need any help with your software installation, you can contact us at help@hprc.tami.edu. if you need help with some licensing stuff to use certain software, also email us. If you also are able to, if we don't have your software and you don't want to go through us getting it for you, you can install it directly in your home or Scratch directory, but you can't run the sudo command. So you'll have to be able to do that without the sudo command, which is doable. It's usually in documentation. And yeah, you can install the software yourself. There's the way that you actually use the software on the cluster is going to be through our module system. And this is something you use in the command line. So here is these green text right here is an example of like what someone would want to enter if they're trying to use specific software or specific modules. The way that our modules work on the cluster is that there's a hierarchy in which certain modules might need to be loaded first before you load higher level modules. In this case, in order to use PyTorch 1.12.1, you first need to load the GCC compiler version 10.3.0 and OpenMPI 4.1.1. That's how most software allowance. A lot of software, in order to use it, you need to load certain modules before it. And I'll demo this for y'all because so that y'all can actually see it being used. But let's say you don't know for sure like all the different like what goes up with what GCC goes with what open. You can take a tool chain. You can load a tool chain. If you hit the tool chains command, I did not put a picture in it in here, but it'll show you several tool chains like of GCC core, GCC matched with OpenMPI, and it will show you a version of Python that works with it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, it makes it a lot easier. There's a couple modules that come with it, and so you don't need to worry about what's all what goes with what. Here's some other module commands. There's module spider and module purge. And I'm really just going to do a demonstration and y'all follow along. That would be probably the best way to learn this. And but before I do that, we have a YouTube video right down the bottom. You can see the link. It explains how modules work and these commands. It's a very nice video. Very helpful to understand how it all works. So hands-on activity. I'm just going to, I'll give you all 1 minute to try to figure it out. But you're going to be wanting to use module load, and then you'll load a specific version of the software. So I would say module load OpenMPI version /4.1.4 if I wanted to load that. And then from there, you can, I want you to check the list. So go into the shell, module load OpenMPI 4.1.4, and then type module list to see what modules that are in that package, in that module. And then you can clear all the modules that you have loaded using module purge. All right, if y'all want to watch my screen, then you can see I'm gonna use this shell. Okay, Control L. Okay, so here is a clean terminal. Y'all can see this on my screen. We're gonna start off with
Trenton, can you make your print a little larger, please?
Oh, thank you so much. I do not want to I would hate to do that to y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. All right, there we go. Y'all should definitely be able to see this a lot better now. So, um, let's say I want to load a version of GCC, but I don't know what version I want to use, or I want to see like what versions they have. I can do module spider. Think of spider as like a search, and then I can type GCC, and out comes a nice print of a description, things that go with it. You can navigate this using the arrow keys, and then when you're done navigating it, you hit Q to get out of it. So I hit Q, and then see down here at the bottom is my, I'm back in the shell, and type again. So now if I want to run in the slide, we loaded PyTorch 1.12.1. So if I want to see what I need to load in order to load PyTorch 1.12.1, then I'll do module spider, PyTorch 1.12.1. And then right here is a description. And you see right in the middle of my screen, it says you'll need to load all modules right here, GCC and OpenMPI. I'm gonna highlight those and copy those. I'm gonna hit Q to get out of spider. So then I'm gonna load these. And then, excellent, nothing came out, there's no error. Then I'm going to module load PyTorch 1, oh man, 1.12.1. It's going through. Sweet. Now, if I want to see, oh, make sure, oh, maybe I don't actually have Py, I don't know. If I have this, let's check. Module list is how you're going to check all the modules that you have loaded. And here is all the stuff that came with loading those modules. Here you can see I have GCC in here. I have, oh, look, there's PyTorch. Great. So it worked. Um, uh, yeah, that's basically that. That's the idea of how you're going to be using these modules. Uh, I'm not going to spend too much more time into it because there's other stuff, but I really recommend that you watch that video if you weren't able to fully, what's the word, if this was a little much, because it is a lot. So let's go back to the slides. So we have, now we can actually get to job making. Yes, because that is what we want to do on Grace. That's the whole, that's what we're doing. So you can go, we have a very helpful tool in order to submit jobs on Grace. And this is also on other clusters. And it is called the Drona Composer. And y'all can go to the portal. And then there's two different ways to get to the Drona Composer. But either one works. It's going to take you to the same thing. And the Drona Composer is going to be is a simple app, and it helps you with composing jobs. It takes a lot of uh, you don't have to type an entire shell script, a whole batch job. You can just fill out these parameters, and it's gonna essentially write the script for you. So here's what it might look like. So if you go straight to the Drona Composer and you check uh and you check your job name, you're just gonna see the top three. If you go in just for a moment, the first time you, oh, what am I saying? Anyways, right when you open it, you're just gonna see these first three parameters: job name, location, and environment. The job name is going to be whatever you want to call it. You can call it whatever you want. This is just going to be kind of what the output files are named after, and what the job file is going to be called. So then you can choose the location, and you choose the location in your Scratch directory, preferably your Scratch directory. The environment. So environment is really just a idea of like what template. So there's, I don't know, I don't think we have it in there yet, but there's a MATLAB environment, which is a temp. These think of like a template. There's one gonna be for one for R, Python. Right now, I think we just have the generic one up. Um, and so if you select like Python, it might ask you some more specific questions for setting up a Python job. Um, like maybe certain like where your virtual environment is and all that. And uh but for now, we just have the generic environment. We're just making a base generic template, and you can upload files. Once you select your environment, then all this other stuff is going to appear. And from there, now you can add your modules. So how we were going through all those modules, you pick the ones that you want to use, and you're going to type it in. You're going to add it, and then once you have your modules, choose your resources. You can pick your number of cores, number of nodes. If you don't know, just make it 0. You can select a GPU you want to use. If you don't select anything, it's going to assume that you're not using a GPU. And then you select how much memory you want to use. Uh, Lastly, choose how long you want this job to run. And then from there, you can preview it. So, uh, yes, all right, great. So I want y'all to just fill out a job. I want y'all to make a job. Y'all don't submit it. I mean, you could, it wouldn't charge you anything, I don't think, since it would go right through, but you don't need to do that. But go to the Drona Composer and just create a job script with this criteria right here. And then also, I would like y'all to, well, just ask me any questions you have, message it in the chat. Um, does total memory affect the SU cost? No. So the memory will be independent of your SU cost. Um, there is certain nodes. There's big mem nodes, and uh, but it's just one core per hour. It's all off of the cores. Now, I think it'd be considerate of you though, if you're running a program that might only needs like 16 gigabytes of memory, you don't need to reserve like I want 300 or something, because then you're taking up the whole node, and it's not really helpful for a lot of people. And then you're trying to use 300 gigabytes of memory when you only need 16. So, but it does not add to your thing. But in this example, I just had 30 gigabytes uh, um, because I wanted a good number that was nice. I think the minimum on Grace is 3 gigabytes of memory. Uh, there is a minimum, and so you can't. And so and if also really helpful about the composer is that if you do anything that is out of the parameters, then it will give you a notification. Like if you ask for way too many cores and you only want one node, if you ask for like 49 cores, which is one over how many are there per node, uh, uh, sorry, I got distracted by the message. Um, if you request too many cores and only one node, you'll get an error. If you request way too much memory, it'll I'll say, hey, this is too much memory. And then if you select too much time, then it will also say, hey, that's too much. You'll get notifications. All right. So I'm gonna do a demonstration for y'all. I'm just gonna put in my own numbers, but let me share my screen over here. And here we are at the shell, but we're not going to be in the shell. We are going to be using, wow, I'm zoomed in. We're going to be going to Drona Composer. Could y'all raise your hand if you were able to uh, do the job composer? Great. Generic. Excellent. Um, Python 3.11.5. And then, okay, now once you have typed that all in, I'd like y'all to preview what you see, whatever the script is that pops out. I want 6 cores and 2 nodes and no GPU, 30 gigabytes, and it's gonna run for 10 minutes. So when I preview, it made a JavaScript for me, which is excellent because sometimes it might be a little, it just takes a little bit of time to make them because you need to because to use a text editor. Anyways, it's really not that hard, but this thing is just so helpful because it just does all that work for me. You can see on here, you can see your job name, you can see the time that you asked for, the number of cores. A task is 1 core. That's just equal. Just think whenever you see a task, it means a core. And I want 2 nodes, so it's going to split up those tasks, three tasks on each node. I want 30 gigabytes input, output. It did not like. Anyways, um, here is some. Here are the modules right here that it loaded that I wanted to load, and then here's it's loading the modules I asked for, and then right here is it's going to CD to the job location, and then from there I could, let's say I have a job I want to run, Python test.py. If I have something in that file, I can submit it, which is really cool. And then you submit your job right down the bottom, and it's it's really cool. It's really cool and really helpful. So back to the presentation, back to the slides. Y'all can put your hands down. Here you are, hands-on activity. This is a sample JavaScript right here. So this one has some bonus optional specifications down here. You can choose what account you want to use. You can choose to get mail whenever your job is done. You can have it email you, which is I recommend. It will also, yeah, it's just nice to get notifications like how your job is doing or when it's done. And then down at the bottom, here's some stuff they added. Oops. Loading these modules, and then they run a Python program. And then it goes through, and then remember at the start how this works, so that you submit your JavaScript from the login node, it sends it into Slurm. Slurm looks, oh, they want to use this much time, they want to do this much, they want this much space. Then it will allocate that and put it into the compute nodes, and then out will pop your output file. What if I want, okay, now I have a question. If I want to use my environment where I have all my modules installed, could you please tell me what changes need to be made in job scheduling? So you install, there's Python libraries. If you want to use, if you have an environment that has your libraries, you're going to go to that, and then you'll add that at the base of your script. But if you need to load modules in the job script. So if you're going to have, you can't load them on the login node and then submit a job. The compute node needs to look at the script, and then the compute node itself needs to load those modules. So that's why you got to put it in the script. Once you submit a job, I want y'all, I don't have too much time left, but it's all such good information. I want y'all to know it all. So I'll kind of like just get through these. Here's whenever you submit a job, if you want to do it through the shell, you do sbatch example1. You don't need to type example1. You're gonna type sbatch and then your job, and it can be a .job file or a .slurm file, and it's gonna submit it. It's gonna go to Slurm, and it's gonna charge it, and then here, right here, it's gonna tell you a little summary of your account and how much you requested. It's gonna charge that, and then whatever gets used, it's gonna refund. You can check the status if you have a job running. Then you can check its status using SQ for SlurmQ, dash U, and then your net ID, or you can do SQ me, and it will show this output down here. It'll show you the node it's on, nodes it's on, and all these different things, which is really, really cool. I love it so much. It's so smart. And then you see right here, these have matching IDs, and though these are definitely very different jobs, but the idea is the same, just for the purpose of like you submit a job, and then you can check that job using SQ. So we have time for this, definitely. So y'all using your Linux skills, I want y'all to go into the shell and navigate to Scratch, Training, Intro to Grace, and then I want you to copy hello world.slurm and hello world.py to your home directory. Then I want you to go back to your home directory and submit the job file using sbatch. So you're going to take those files, you're going to put them in your home directory, and then you're going to type sbatch hello world.slurm. You can also do this for .java. In this case, the job file is a .slurm file. And then it's going to submit, and then you can check on it using SQ. And then when it's done, you can check once it runs through, once it's done with that, you can check the output. So if y'all are not able to do it, you can just watch me, follow along with me. Going back right here. Okay. Here we are in the shell. I'm still good. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for you guys. LS. Okay, well, I already have this in here, but for y'all's sake, I'm gonna navigate to Scratch, Training. All right. And then Intro to Grace. Now I'm here, and here are some of the files in here. I'm gonna copy hello world.slurm to my home directory. Where's the $sign? Home. Excellent. And then I'm gonna copy hello world.py into my home directory. Now we're gonna go back to my home. And now if we look, I'm gonna type ls, and you'll see hello world.py, and you'll see hello world.slurm. So I'm gonna type to submit the job, type sbatch, submit the batch job, hello world.slurm. Hit enter, and then it's gonna go in. Slurm is gonna take it, and then Slurm is gonna say, okay, I want to put this job into, oh no, well, that is not supposed to happen. I'm gonna try again. You'll get an output that is that will be just like what was sent. That is unusual. I'm not sure what's going on. That anyways. So I'll just go back to slides. Anyways, the idea
It's
is
probably just Grace is very busy right now.
okay. Oh, looks like
because Grace is shared by all of Texas A&M, so sometimes it gets congested.
Grace. Oh, poor Grace. Our poor flagship cruster. That makes sense. Anyways, that's what you'll do. Okay, but I'm glad that to see, not necessarily glad to see that y'all have the same problem, but I'm glad that y'all are able to do that. That's really cool. Excellent. So that's how you're going to submit jobs. Grace is just really busy right now. She's working hard. She's working hard. So, um, so I wanted to show y'all. Actually, I think we're right on time. You can check. There's if you want to type sinfo in the shell, you get this whole nice printout of all the different batch queues. And whenever you submit a job, it gets put into a different batch queue depending on what you requested. So if you requested a whole lot of memory, you'll get a big mem node right down here, kind of near the bottom. If you submit a job that's less than 2 hours, you'll get a short, it will get put into this short partition. It will, and so basically not everybody is getting put into like the same. You don't need to worry. And if you submit something with a GPU, you're going to get put into a GPU node. You don't need to worry about waiting for everybody who's maybe not using a GPU. It's set aside, it's allocated for you for people who need to use GPUs. And you can check more. Here's a link down at the bottom with a lot more information on that. Here are a bunch of really helpful job submission. Maybe take a photo or a screenshot of this right here. It has, these are very helpful commands. And down at the bottom is another link for just good, helpful commands for using in the shell. I'm gonna give you all a moment if you want to take a photo, or you can also see the slides once this is done. It'll be posted online. There's, I guess, ones I want to point out. SACT -X -J can give you information on a job while it's running. It gives you more information than just SQ. And then PStat-U can show you some information about jobs that are being run for a user. And then Ceph, PStat, SACT are some pretty helpful to do. So like if you're able to, once you're able to submit it, try these out and check how they work. And that is the end. If y'all have any questions, I don't have time for a Q&A or anything like that. Sorry about that. But if you have any questions, you can email our help desk. There's also the user guide on the knowledge base. If you're sending a help request, give us the cluster, your net ID, your job IDs, all this stuff. Or like I said, go into the dashboard and just use the help ticket. It makes it so much easier. You don't need to remember all these things to fill in. It'll ask you, and it helps us help you. It helps us help you a lot faster, and we don't need a whole bunch of back and forth. We can just look at, oh, hey, here's the problem. We can fix it. Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, and the knowledge base has a lot of information on just a whole lot more information. I really recommend go on knowledge base and just through the quick start, just go through the quick start. Gives you a bunch of extra stuff. It's just fun. I don't know. I love it. HPRC is so cool. Thank you all very much. And if you have any thoughts, please fill out our survey. It's really helpful. It's also posted in the chat, but please, it won't take long. Just fill it out. It's helpful for us. And thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for listening. I really hope this helped. And I love Grace in HPRC. It's so cool.